Everybody, welcome to Crown and Comments, May 2023.
This video is sponsored by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Video Series.
So for those of you that are new to the channel, this is something I do about once a month where I get together with my viewers and I just kind of go over some of the comments that you've posted on my YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram or even emails in some cases. And the reason we call it Crown and Comments is because I have my favorite adult beverage, which is Crown Royal. And I encourage you to get whatever your favorite adult beverage is and just sit back and relax and enjoy the show as much as possible. For those of you that don't know, and I always like to preface this, that majority of what we talk about is motorcycle related, but sometimes I get off on a tangent. I might talk about some other things. The studio has undergone quite a few changes because since our last Crown and Comments, we got new carpeting in the house. And so that included the studio, obviously. So that gave me an opportunity to make some changes in here. I added some new equipment. The lighting is pretty much the same, but some of the way I've mounted my hardware is different. I used to have the camera mounted to the desk on a little desk mount. And so a lot of times when I would shake the desk, the camera would shake. Maybe you've noticed that in the past on some of my videos. I have also changed the way I mounted my microphone above me. Got a mic up here, and I also have now an overhead camera permanently mounted, which is nice because then if I need to do an overhead shot like of my glass here or of a product, if I'm doing an unboxing or a product review, just makes it much easier. So let's get started. And by the way, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not going to be riding my motorcycle anymore today. I always like to put out the public service announcement. I never, ever encourage nor would condone riding a motorcycle after you've had any kind of adult beverage, like even beer or wine. I never ride if I've had a drink. I'm in for the day or the night, as the case may be. So I just wanted you to know right up front that even though the show is about motorcycling and the name of the show is Crown and Comments, this is something I do after hours, and it's something I do when I'm not riding my motorcycle or driving a car for that matter. Okay, so let's get started with the show. What can I update you with first? First of all, I've got my MacBook Pro sitting over here, and I'm going to pull up my comments for this week, or this month, I should say. The first couple of things I'm going to talk about, which involve some of the comments, or a couple of the comments, is I think everybody probably knows, if you're watching this show, you probably know by now about my motorcycle accident that I had over a month ago. Can you believe it's been more than a month? It's actually been 5 weeks. It'll be 5 weeks this coming Saturday. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the story, I was on my way to West Texas to visit my brother. I'm going to give you the quick version. Pulled on, went to get some gas, came to an intersection. There was a semi in front of me, and he started backing up in reverse, and he backed into my motorcycle. Basically, the bike had to be towed to Midland because that's the closest Honda dealer, but there'll be hell to pay if that bike doesn't come back to me in perfect condition, because it went there in perfect condition other than the obvious damage from the truck. So anyway, that's my sob story. I apologize for continuing to reiterate that. I am planning a series of videos starting with when I eventually, whenever this is going to be, eventually am able to go pick up the motorcycle and I'll do my inspection. I'll be videotaping all of that. And that will be the first in a series of videos. Then I'll do a MOTOVLOG coming home. And I've actually picked up some sponsors for those videos, a series of videos, because I wouldn't be able to do it without the sponsors. I'm going to cover some more about this, but I think I'll wait till the comments come in and go over it that way. As far as other stuff going on, I think I mentioned in my last video that, or the last video like this, that you know, the business is taking a hit from this. The YouTube channel, not so much, but the video sales of my maintenance videos, because this is how I promote my maintenance videos. I also have got products piling up here that I need to install and review. I just brought a few of them in just to show you. I've got a really interesting little radar system from Innov, I don't know how you say it. I think I reviewed, in fact, I know I reviewed one of their helmet cams or their action cameras. I've also got a F1 motorcycle dash cam. Boy, could I have used that a few weeks ago. From a company called Vantru. Not familiar with them. I think I've also got a dash cam system coming in from Innov. So it'll be a good opportunity to install both of these and give them a test and maybe compare the two, how they work and everything. Got that. No motorcycle to install these on. I need my Goldwing. And then I've got the new Garmin Zumo XT2. This thing looks killer. I can't wait to test this on my bike. In fact, I'll probably take this with me to Midland when I go pick up my bike. And I will put it in place of my XT because it fits in the same mounting cradle. So it's just an easy swap. I've already got the XT off anyway. I brought it home with me. So I'll just take this with me and we'll give it a test on the road coming back from Midland. But again, these are opportunities right now for my channel that are just sitting on the sideline. And I've got others. I've got some that are in boxes that are way too large to put on this table. A new fender extension from Showchrome. I want to show you how to install that and talk a little bit about that product. I've got a couple of other things. I don't want to get into everything in this video, but so I've got a lot of products that are just kind of piling up around here. Got a whole nother box from Panical with some stuff in it that I'm going to be testing and reviewing. And also that gives me an opportunity, has nothing to do with Panical necessarily, but it gives me an opportunity to talk about, I think some of you might have seen Max McAllister's video where he's talking about these new tip-over protectors. Max made me aware that one of these Chinese companies has kind of ripped off his design, and they're selling tip-over protection bars, engine crash guards, whatever you want to call them. And it's a real sore spot. I don't know what company he's referring to or if there's multiple companies that these are being marketed through. But I did get an opportunity to review and test some crash guards or tip-over bars from one of the companies that I review products for. And there's several different companies. And I told them thanks, but no thanks, because I did not know if maybe that was the company or one of the companies that had ripped off Max's design or idea or concept. I'm not sure. I'm sure Max is going to come out with something better, cooler, more durable, whatever. I trust his engineering better. But it just kind of pisses me off when a small business person takes the time and the effort and the investment to develop a new product, and then some Chinese company or other company rips it off, and they don't have to abide by patent laws or copyright laws or anything like that. So sometimes you can go after the distributor, the U.S. distributor. I don't know how it works. Max knows more about that than I do, obviously. So Max knows more about a lot of things than I do, apparently. So anyway, Let's get started with your comments coming up right after this. Okay, the first comment is from Roscoe. It's actually an email he sent me. And he sent me an email about my accident, and he sent me a picture. He said the exact same thing happened to me 2 years ago. I was backpedaling as fast as I could, but when his crash bar caught the front wheel, I knew it was over, and I dove off to the left side. I dove off to the right side because I had traffic on my left. But I say I dove. I think I was kind of thrown off to the right side, but it was half thrown off, half dive. I'm not sure which. He said his forks were severely bent. It was a GS, a BMW GS, and the bike was totaled. Truck driver's insurance paid out. And okay, sorry that happened to you, Roscoe. Ahmed Al-Ajif said, I wish Cardo had video integration. This is on one of the videos I did on the Senna 50C. I do too. I wish Cardo made a combination video, action camera, headset, but they don't. I would actually be happy if Cardo and or Senna would put a micro SD card into their headsets so that you could record the conversation if you're in a group ride, or even if it's just on your ride, but you could record your audio and you could then later sync that up to your action cam video if you're using a GoPro or whatever you're using. I've been asking for this for years. It just doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a deal to put a micro SD card slot and have it set up to where it can record your conversation. Then I've got Glock Model 35. This is a comment on my Show Chrome power fuse block, isolation fuse block video. Did a while back, actually. And he's asking a question. After this installation, can you then use the Kisan electronics brake light flashing deceleration warning for the Goldwing 2018 and newer models? Yes, it doesn't really affect it one way or the other because the tailBlazeer, I think he's referring to the tailBlazeer. The tailBlazeer actually installs on your saddlebag connectors, I think is what they call them, underneath your seat. So it really is not impacted by this isolator fuse block at all. It goes right in line with your wiring. Edgardo Matos says, he's talking about the Stormhawk boots. He says, I like the boot, looking for something comfortable and waterproof. What's the link? He was asking for a link to purchase the boot. I didn't provide a link because the place I purchased, they're not a sponsor, and you should be able to find these boots from any online reseller that sells Icon. I would just do a search for Icon Stormhawk, and I'm sure there'll be vendors come up that sell that boot. But I would think any of your almost all of your national online resellers that sell Icon would have that boot available. John Steiner said, I know in the law enforcement, let me start over. Maybe I need a drink. I know in the law enforcement community, a lot of us use the BOA system for our work boots. And I got a couple of, or several messages. Apparently, I'm the only one out there that wasn't familiar with this BOA system. It's the first time I'd ever seen it, and it actually is very cool. So apparently, John is in law enforcement. Thank you for your service. And they've used this BOA system on some of their products or their boots. Edgardo Metos again, and he's talking about the trunk rack from Panical. He put in a message, I'll keep the one I have. I don't really use it that much. My rack came with the bike. Wish it didn't have it. It's a pain cleaning in between the studs. I think he's talking about cleaning the trunk lid in between the studs. And that's true. That's the one thing I really didn't like about my trunk rack on my 2018 is it was very hard to clean and dry underneath it because it's a very tight fit. And this one looks like it might even be tighter. Boiled Octopus. Now there's a name you don't see every day. This was on my review, I think, of the 2023 Goldwing. He said, the amount of time and effort that has gone into this video is mind-blowing. New UK subscriber. Awesome work. Wow. Thank you, Boiled. I assume Boiled is your first name. You know, a lot of people I don't think realize or appreciate how much work does go into these review videos. I'm working on the NCX 750 video right now. I've probably already got 3 hours of editing, and I'll bet before I get it done, I'm going to be up to 20 hours just in editing, not to mention all the video I had to shoot, photos, video, riding out to remote locations to get video. And I know a lot of guys do even more elaborate reviews because they've got followed vehicles and things like that, which I'd like to do in the future. But anyway, thank you very much. I'm glad you understand and appreciate the amount of work that goes into it because it is pretty significant. Oklahoma Hank. We've had comments from Oklahoma Hank before. Seems like Rev-It makes boots with that same system. He's talking about the Stormhawk, and I think he's talking about the BOA. And he's right, they do. And so does mine is blank. Climb. That's what I was trying to think of. So does Climb. Climb also makes some boots that have the BOA system. They have some that are very, very similar to this boot, in fact, but I think they're about $40 or $50 more expensive, but that's typical Climb. They're usually a little higher. Ken Fan said, hey, Cruiseman, thanks again for another excellent video. I will definitely be watching and re-watching this one. He's referring to my 20 things you need to know about your Honda Goldwing. This is an old video. This is a video I did a couple of years ago, and it continues to get a lot of views, thousands of views per year. So if you have not watched that video, I'll put a link up in the corner here to that video if you want to check it out. It is a really good video, and I've even considered maybe refreshing it, re-releasing it, but it's still very, very timely and good video. Thank you, Ken, was it? Thank you, Ken, for that. Jesse Hopkins says, on a totally different subject, now he's referring to last month's Crown and Comments. Do you think the DCT wing can pull a 400 to 500 pound camping trailer? I know you have a small cargo trailer. I'm currently installing a hitch on my 2021. Thank you for the video, by the way. My hitch came with no instructions. I do have a video, but it's an old video on how to install a Rivco trailer hitch. That might help if you're trying to install this without instructions, but I would contact the company you bought the hitch from. They should provide some instructions because every hitch system is a little different. As far as pulling a 400 to 500 pound camping trailer, assuming that means that's what it weighs fully loaded, I would say you're probably okay. But I'm not going to make that claim because I don't think Honda recommends you pull a trailer. And I don't want to be in any kind of a legal quagmire. Now, if anybody out there pulls a camping trailer that weighs 400 to 500 pounds with your DCT, put it in the comments down below, and you might be able to help Jesse out here. Okay, Two Wheels talks about my accident, a wreck update. You will wish you had legal representation talking to the trucker's insurance company. Please get a lawyer involved. It sucks, but if this is not your area of expertise, you will not be made whole. Honestly, Progressive is not doing this for you. Well, I think Progressive is doing all they can. They my policy does not include any medical coverage. And even if it did, my issues are not as much medical as they are loss of business, loss of use, and just the plain hassle of not having my motorcycle right in the middle of riding season. There should be some compensation for that, honestly. I didn't ask for any from the trucking company. I'm just asking for loss of use, diminished value, and business damages. Right now, well, I don't know if I should get into numbers. I'm just not going to do it. I have tried to avoid getting attorneys involved in this, but it looks like that's the road I have to go down now. I am looking at some different options as far as legal relief. I hate that. I was hoping I could just contact the trucking company's insurance company, and I have been in communication with them. I have let them know what I think my damages are, and I'll just be honest with you. They came back to me with a number that basically what I took from that was said, you need to get an attorney. I mean, it was such a ridiculous. It was pitiful. I mean, it was sad. So, thank you, Two Wheels. I've probably had 3 or 4 dozen text messages, emails, all kinds of messages saying the same thing. Get an attorney, get an attorney, get an attorney, get an attorney, hire a lawyer. Anyway, I've hesitated to do it, but it looks to me like that's unfortunately the road we may have to go down. Okay, oh, by the way, thank you for that. Is it Two Wheels? Yeah, thank you, Two Wheels. I hear you. And the people that backed into me are going to hear all of us soon, to borrow a phrase from George W. Bush. Okay, Docking Troll says the video could have been over at 26 seconds. This is my Goldwing versus the BMW 1600 GTL, K1600 GTL. He said the video could have been over at 26 seconds if you had just answered your own question then and there. Instead, you had to drag on for another 28 minutes, so I bailed. Maybe it's a good video. I don't know. Well, he spent more than 26 seconds typing his comment. First of all, you could have watched the video in that amount of time. You know, if you're going to insult me, go ahead and watch the video. At least, hell, there's probably a lot more wrong with the video that you could have insulted me about. If you just watched the whole video, you could have written a whole thesis. Saying that I just drag on for another 28 minutes. I got a lot of good comments on that video, by the way. It's one of the most popular videos on the channel. I think it was the most popular in 2022. That's the BMW versus Honda Goldwing. So anyway, that's why we have Crown. Panical Goldwing. These are our friends at Panical who make the luggage rack and the radiator guards and some other products I'll be reviewing. Based on feedback from your subscribers, we've made a price adjustment. The luggage rack is an extra size with more storage space. Now, I saw this comment before the show, and I went and looked on Amazon, and I'll be damned, they dropped the price $200 on the Chrome model. It's now like $299. It was $499. So they did a serious price drop. So apparently they are listening. Apparently a lot of people were complaining about the price, and they paid attention and they dropped the price. I mean, significantly. So the Chrome luggage rack is now less expensive than the Honda Chrome luggage rack, and it's larger. Now, I think that if I looked today, I think if the Chrome was $299, I think the black might be a little more expensive, which is the opposite of the way it was before. I think the black might be $329, but nevertheless, that's still a hell of a decrease. Okay, another comment on the trunk rack video. Looks nice, but that's about all I can say in favor of this piece. As a matter of fact, the two items I've seen from Panical, The radiator protectors and this trunk rack are just too pricey for me. Translation equals overpriced. Anything that costs more than a Honda accessory, I'll pass. That's from Donald LL. Well, Donald, I just told you Panical reduced the price. They must have read your comment and others like it, and they have addressed that. So you might want to go back and check that again. Okay, Mr. Electric. This is on my wreck accident. He said, we all think we and our bikes are special. Dealerships do not think our bikes are special unless they are selling you one. That's a good point. They have no emotional link to the bike as you do. They see it as a bike needing repair. They're being paid by the insurance company to get it back on the road so they can cash the check and move on to the next repair. Accept that reality. You may be right. We're going to find out when I go to pick up the bike. Whether or not I end up picking up the bike, I don't know. It depends on what condition the bike is in when I get there. And I don't know what happens. Honestly, I don't know. If I go there and the repairs are not done up to my standards, I don't know if that's something I have to take up with Progressive. I don't know if that's something I take up with the dealer. I've never dealt with this. I hope you're wrong, Mr. Electric. I hope you're wrong. I knew I was going to get a name I couldn't pronounce. Zaleski? I'm doing my best here, Dana. Help me out. The items that are not in, this is on the trunk rack, the Panical trunk rack. The items that are not included in this luggage rack kit, that items is plural. The items that are not included in this luggage rack kit that are included in the Honda kit are heavier duty gas struts for the lid. Very good point. That is a very good point. The Honda kit does include the struts that are heavier duty to handle that additional weight of a luggage rack. And the Panical luggage rack does not include that. So you have to be very careful when you go to close the lid on your trunk with the Panical rack installed, that you don't just let it drop, because I don't think those OEM factory struts are going to handle that much weight elegantly. I don't know. I've never tried it. And I don't know that you can buy the heavier gas struts. I know you can't. I don't think you can get them from Honda, but I don't know if you can buy them aftermarket. I don't know. Does anybody know? That's a very, very good comment. That's all of the comments. You've been able to hear me bitch and moan about my situation. I think you're probably sick of it by now. And I do have a couple of other things I'll tell you that are planned. They still haven't picked up the NC750, and I'm probably going to ride it tomorrow if the weather's good, and ride it a little bit, get a little bit more riding in on it. Once it's gone, I have no bike to ride until my bike comes back. I will be at flying to Wisconsin the end of the month to visit my friends at Big Bike Parts. And I think we're going to be able to tour their facility. And I think they're maybe going to have a bike for me to ride while I'm up there. And I'm probably going to take obviously I'll take my GoPro or my Insta360 with me to get some video of all this. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up. That really, really makes a huge difference with YouTube ratings. I don't emphasize that enough, but it really makes a big difference. I've been doing work around the house since I don't have a motorcycle and can't get any work done, can't make any money right now. I told you we got new carpet. I had to install a new baseboard in our bedroom from some water damage that happened. We also had a new back door put on the house. I had to install a new garage door opener today in Cruiseman's garage because the one I had wasn't working. The logic board had failed, and they don't make the logic board anymore for it. So I went ahead and just bought a new Chamberlain unit. And anyway, thanks for watching. Thumbs up. I'll see you on the next Crown and Comments, and remember what I always say. Ride often, but ride safe.